Welcome to Soul and Synergy Radio. Soul and Synergy Radio is dedicated to exploring the mysteries of the universe and our place in it. Your hosts, Terry and Danny, are the owners of Soul and Synergy LLC, based in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Each week, they will be delving into topics that are part of the metaphysical and paranormal world, along with spiritual practices that help us connect with our higher selves and tap into the energy of the cosmos. The show will feature interviews with members of the metaphysical and paranormal community, sharing their knowledge and insights with their listeners. Whether you're new to this world or an experienced seeker, Soul and Synergy has something for everyone. Now, your hosts, Terry Flick and Danny Loosemore.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to Soul and Synergy Radio on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. We have an exciting episode for you, all of you today. We're going to be going into the paranormal.
Yeah, this will be our first show for paranormal.
Strictly paranormal.
Strictly paranormal. So
yes.
A couple investigators, an author, a movie star.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So on board today, we have Brian Cano, Destiny Fox, and Char Savoie, all of which do ghost hunting and the paranormal side of things. Yep. So we'll be talking about or talking with them in a couple of minutes. So things happening around the store.
I have no clue. I have no clue.
We have our fair this weekend at 29 Pines in Eau Claire. Our fair last weekend that we had to skip the show for was in Minnesota, in Brainerd, and it was amazing.
Yes, thank you to Brainerd, for sure.
Big thank you to Brainerd. I mean, we saw close to 450, 500 people coming through the door in 2 days, and had amazing speakers and a gallery with 60 people.
Yeah.
And that was Terry's introduction to galleries, along with Sherry Meyer from Reiki Magic. Yeah. So they did the mediumship show together, and 60 some people. You never see that.
No, I was totally impressed, and we probably could have had more people in there. We just ran out of room in the space, and I had to shut the doors and say thank you.
Yeah, everybody did really well there, and everyone that came through the doors were very happy and got the things that they needed. So it was just an exciting and wonderful fair. Yeah. So 29 Pines, of course, is in the same category. So we will have a really great time there. And then after that, where are we?
So after that, May 13th, we're in La Crosse at the Radisson. Then we go back to Minnesota. The 20th is Alexandria. The 21st is Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And then June 10th is Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our spring schedule.
Yeah. So, and we have also opened up another store.
Opened another store.
Yes. We kind of moved off and have an offshoot of the business. It's called Superstore.metaparaproducts.com. And we sell just about every kind of metaphysical item you could possibly think of. So if you are out and about on the internets,
World Wide Web,
go to Superstore.metaparaproducts.com.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff on it.
Tons of stuff. And then Terry has a thing up in Rice Lake every Thursday, or at least once a week.
Yeah, Wednesdays or Thursdays. It really depends on if we're traveling or not. So if we're traveling and have to leave on Friday, I'll do Wednesday. But yeah, so I am doing healings and readings in Rice Lake, Wisconsin once a week. Classes, stuff like that. They've asked me to come up to the Shape and Sense Wellness Center up there and see and help them out and do some stuff up there. So yeah, it's an amazing place. They're really trying to put things together up there. So
so we're kind of going in many different directions, and it all seems to be working just fine.
In alignment.
Yes, and we're also going to start online pre-recorded classes.
Yes, I hear that.
Yes, with our friend Patty Q, who comes in on the show and kind of does the end of the show and starts doing readings. She's going to be doing some pre-recorded classes that we will provide online, and it's kind of like a Udemy type of thing. And she will be talking about many different topics in spirituality for both people needing healing and even healers themselves. So we will have those types of classes with her and groups with her, and she's joining us here in the shop on Tuesdays and Thursdays for her own appointments. So it's really great to be expanding and bringing other people into the circle, and it's really rather exciting to see all this stuff just really kind of blooming.
Yeah. It's keeping the flow.
Yeah, keeping the flow.
Keeping the flow.
Patty would call that water method.
Yeah.
Just kind of keeping the flow.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's a big deal. I talk about flow a lot in classes and stuff, and looking for those things that are slowing you down and moving them out of your path, and things like that that you can flow around instead of running up to it and slowing down fast and trying to figure out what the hell's going on and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Just go a different direction.
Yeah.
Keep it flowing.
Keep your eyes in front of you to see the things that are going to be in your way, and just kind of flow around them.
Mm-hmm.
And it all seems to be working just fine. So as we're waiting for our guests to appear, we can talk a little bit about kind of the things going on in the world here. Wow. We just looked at the comments section. Scroll up to see all who's here.
Oh, yeah.
We have Melanie and Sherry and Mary Spindler. Hey, Mary. Luana. Courtney, of course. She's a mainstay. And a Facebook user that says, hey, Danny and Terry, but I have a feeling that might be Jamie.
Maybe.
Yes. Thank you for joining the show, and welcome to the audience.
Todd put our little thing in there too, so you guys can see that.
Oh, Todd, it isn't www.superstore. It's just superstore.metaparaproducts.com. Jenny. Hi, Jenny. And Shell are here. Wonderful. So as we kind of move forward with those types of things, it's what's she saying? You guys are really just raking it in. Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty good, Corey.
Yeah, that's quite the pun you got going on there, for sure. So we're kind of finalizing some stuff in Onalaska, La Crosse area, and getting those things in place. I'll be doing tarot this weekend at 29 Pines. So if you're interested, please have a seat at my booth, and we'll have some fun with that. Oh, another thing that's happening next week on Tuesday, we have what's called a Tarot Masterclass Lab Practicum, and that is where we have our student who is taking the Masterclass in Tarot reading for the public. And it's a free event, and anybody's welcome to come into the store. It starts at 6:30. And it gives her an opportunity to read for many different types of people, and helps her kind of hone her skills. And we will also have a couple of other tarot readers in the house, one of which is Mary Spindler of Ruby Winds. She'll be here supporting Dixie in her journey to being a tarot reader. So if anybody is watching that would possibly want to come in, take a look at our events on Soul and Synergy's Facebook page, and mark that you'll be going so that we can expect you here.
Yeah, Mary will also be with us this weekend at 29 Pines, and she'll be with us on May 13th in Onalaska.
Yes, she will.
Char, who you're going to meet today, will be with us at 29 Pines as well.
Yes. So it appears that all of our guests have arrived. So
we're still waiting for
No, he said that Destiny was already backstage.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
So we are ready to roll. So let's welcome our guests, our panel, to talk about everything paranormal. And as the title of the show today is states, making paranormal. So let's welcome everybody to the show.
Oh, there
Hello.
you go. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us for our episode today. Our audience seems to be quite happy that you're here with us today. We normally stick more into the metaphysical type of things, but of course we're into the paranormal as well. And
Somewhat, yeah.
and we thought we would bring you onto the show to talk to our audience about yourself, what you do, any experiences you may have had. So why don't we start off with introductions for our audience with Destiny.
Hi, Destiny Fox Paranormal. We have had some interesting things go on here recently. We've appeared on a TV show called Repossessed, and it's available on Hulu right now. Michael and I are on episode 2, season 1. So that was an experience. We enjoyed doing that.
Nice. Where do you hail, Destiny?
We are in Carrollton, Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Love
Can't
the
you tell
accent.
by the accent?
Yes, I love it.
When we did the Paracon, it's been a year ago now. I can remember it was down there somewhere, but I couldn't exactly remember where you came from for that. But, yeah.
Yeah, we did. I was speaking with some people while we were there, and I said, well, I'm from Georgia. And they're like, obviously. And I'm like, okay. The accent gave me away.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Awesome.
And Brian joins us from New York.
Hey guys. It's me, Cano. Good to see you again, Terry.
Good morning.
It has been a quick year, but a long year, hasn't it? I feel like a lot of stuff fitting into it, but it was only a year since we were together in Janesville.
Yes. Yeah. So what have you been doing in this last year?
Ooh, what haven't I been doing? For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm a paranormal researcher. You might have seen me on Haunted Collector, Paranormal Caught on Camera, and other random paranormal TV bits. Right now, I've been, for the past 2-3 years, touring my History of the Paranormal mobile exhibit around the United States. And last year, I just came out with my first book, Grains of Sand, Tales of a Paranormal Life. So I've been busy. Sometimes I don't know where I've been, where I am, but the journey has been a fun one.
You find that the more we get into this, the deeper we dive, I think we find that to be a thing for everyone. What did we do yesterday? What did we do last week? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then we have Char, who we just saw down in over in Brainerd.
Yep.
So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Char Savoie. I'm from Minnesota. And I got into the paranormal because I was absolutely terrified. And I figured I should probably figure out what was so terrifying about it. Ended up finding out that it wasn't really terrifying. It was actually very loving and kind and interesting. And then through the people I met, I discovered that I had gifts that I was suppressing and didn't want to pay attention to. So kind of do a little bit of both the metaphysical and the paranormal. And I do my best to try to combine the both because they feel like the same thing to me. So
Great.
That they do.
So
and for the panel, why paranormal? Why did you end up in this direction? I know that Char kind of explained for herself, but what made you guys kind of go into this realm? Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'll go. I had experiences as a teenager. The first experience I had, I was home from college, and my grandmother had recently passed, and I was staying in the room that she passed away in, and I actually heard her talking to me. So I thought, well, okay, they're playing a trick on me, because my family was pranksters, always scaring somebody, pulling jokes on people. And so I got up and I ran to everybody's room. Everybody was asleep. I actually woke up my mother. And then my mother told me, she said, I've heard and seen her too. And so at that point, I knew there was more. I took up an interest in it. I didn't pursue this interest for paranormal investigating until about the year 2011 when I met my husband, Michael. And he took me, of all places, to a cemetery for my first investigation. And it was a haunted cemetery in Montgomery, Alabama. And it was very active, shadow people running around the wood lines. And it was fascinating. And just from there, it almost became an obsession. I wanted to know more. I wanted to dive deeper. And so we started our own team in 2012, and we've been going paranormal ever since.
Nice.
Wonderful.
So in like Char, it doesn't scare you. It intrigues you.
It does intrigue me. There has been times I always made the comment, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything. It can't bother me. I'm not scared. But there has been times in our paranormal investigating, I was extremely disturbed. I was scared.
Yeah.
I have been scared before.
Okay.
And Mr. Cano.
I never know where to rewind the clock to, because when you're a child, you believe in everything. Very rarely do you have a skeptical child other than, oh, you're not going to do what I want. You believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, Jesus, etc. You don't question it. That's the way the world is. And as you get older, you start to lose those things. You start to question everything. And I think that's a strong point. But we end up sacrificing or losing things that are important. And as a kid, believed in everything. Got older, around college age, I was a hardcore skeptic. And when you're in college, you think you know everything. So crisis of faith, hardcore skeptic, did believe in anything. Oh, you guys, you're crazy and you're crazy. You're all crazy. You're not seeing this. You're not feeling this. You're not witnessing this. There's nothing. 2002, some friends and I started doing a cable access show here in New York City called Scared on Staten Island. And it was very much an urban exploration, Scooby-Doo-ish type thing. We would just go into a place and try to verify the rumors or the urban legends that we'd heard about the place. And if we could find some evidence of paranormal activity, all we really had was our cameras, our bodies, some little trinkets we would bring along, toy cars, chalk, baby powder. And I came in as the skeptic. Every adventure, every moment, every book I read, person I talked to, I got mentored, went to events, really spread out. There was no one event or no one instance that changed me. There was a lot of little things. I called them grains of sand, hence the title of my book. But eventually, all these experiences, all these grains of sand that I collected, I'm like, nope, this didn't do it. Nope, this wasn't it. Nope. What's going to convince me? I looked down, and all those grains of sand that I had dropped formed a beach, and I had to consider what that meant. So today, I don't consider myself a skeptic. I consider myself to be a skeptical believer, in the respect that I know the phenomena exists. It's part of our universe. It's part of our world. It's the people who report it that I'm skeptical of.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting approach to it.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So one of the questions that we have is that how do you set up a paranormal investigation? Is it just something as simple as finding a place and going? Is there things you have to prepare for? Is there some sort of etiquette that you have to follow? If you guys want to talk about how to kind of go about doing that.
That's a loaded question. There's so much that goes into that. Like, where do you start? I think the very first thing to start with is permission always. Like, you have to have permission to do things. So don't go into places you're not supposed to, first of all. But, I think it's everybody's different level of what they want to know. Me personally, as an intuitive, sometimes I don't want to know all the information because I want to know if I'm experiencing what others have experienced. So I guess it depends on what your level of how you want to approach it. But I think it's always good if you're going with somebody that somebody knows something, so there's some validation happening. And it's just, you have to go with what connects with you. You can't force something to happen. So like I work with Greg a lot, and he's the spirit box guy. So it would be weird for me to bring him somewhere and not bring a spirit box, you know? So we do what works for us. And I think that's what you have to do, is you have to go in comfortable, what works for you and at your level of how you want to do it, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
How about Destiny?
We do mostly client-based investigations, which consist of client contacting us. We don't chase after cases. We wait for them to come to us. We've been recommended to some cases before by other paranormal investigators, but the biggest thing is talking to the clients first. We take down all their claims, everything they have to say about their home or business or property, with an open mind, because people can say a lot of things that's hard to believe. And we actually go through a process of what kind of medications do you take, because there are medications that can cause hallucinations. So we always want to rule that out before we take a team in to do these investigations. After all that's clear to go, sometimes my husband and I will go out and visit with the clients and kind of get a feel for the property. Other times, if we're settled on this and we can go in and take the team, we go in and then do the investigation. We do like to go out and pay to go to some pretty famous haunts. We enjoy that. It's a time to cut loose. We like to know the history of the location. We like to know what made it haunted to begin with. And then we like to go in and just have a good time investigating there.
Okay. Brian, what's your take on setting up a investigation kind of the right way?
My first question would be, why? And to Destiny's point, sometimes they want to have fun. That's great. There's a time for that. Sometimes it's a time to assist someone who is confused or doesn't know what's going on and might need some guidance. Sometimes it's for our own curiosity. There's no reason. It's just, okay, yeah, you know what? I've always wanted to go on there and I've heard the stories. Let me see if I can experience something. So there's no real textbook way to say this is how it's done. But also to Char's point, yeah, if you're going to do this, there's certain things you got to do first. You got to get permission. There's no trespassing, all of the usual golden rule items. But I've found that in the paranormal, now there's the general population, there's the paranormal bubble. It's a subsection of the population. Within that, there are three categories. You've got your tourists, your investigators, and your researchers. And it's good to know which category you fall into, and it's good to know where everyone else you encounter falls into, because sometimes you would expect something of someone, they're not behaving in the way you expect them to, and you get annoyed that, oh, this person isn't doing this the right way, but maybe they're not there for the same reason that you are. So to backpedal and to maybe closer answer the question that I think you're asking, is that how to set up an investigation. Your motivation is the very first goalpost, because if you're doing it as a team, well, you guys are doing it maybe to further the reputation, to gain more knowledge, you got to pay your dues. The paranormal is this weird, and I'm the wrong person to talk to about this, because I'm approaching that crotchety old man phase where it's like, who are you helping? What qualifications do you have? The black T-shirt, the acronym that's clever. What does that do? And again, I've been through that phase. I understand it. I know it. I paid my dues. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I get the allure. And the paranormal is community. And a lot of times it's less about investigating the dead, but connecting with the living. The social gathering. Yeah, it's fun to get together on a weekend with your friends and get in the uniform and we're going to do this and have fun. And then on Monday, you have some amazing stories to talk about. So for me to answer the question properly, I guess I would need a clarification of, well, are we talking about to help somebody? Is it for our own? Like, there's so much involved, and I know you guys are with me on that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But another question: do you ever do anything just by yourself? Is it safe to go out on your own, and when you know that there's some sort of entity people are saying are there, or is it recommended to have a team, or is going alone safe?
I never go alone. There's multiple factors in that. One, anything can happen. I mean, on the way to there, on the way home, you could just get injured, or and I don't know. It's a weird little world. So if you don't know people that you're going to go help or whatever, you don't know them, I guess. And I mean, me as a woman, I mean, I feel there's a little bit more of a insecurity level there. So I never go anywhere alone, even if I'm going to go to a well-known haunted location that's set up in a building. I could fall, I could get hurt, anything could happen, medical emergencies. So I just feel like doing anything on your own wouldn't be smart. I mean, for me, that's my personal opinion. I would never go alone.
What about the rest of you?
No, I would never go alone.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the location too, if you go into an abandoned place, in our area, there are vacant buildings that people like to squat in, like live there illegally. So, you never know when you would walk into a situation like that.
Scared on Staten Island, Destiny. I don't know. I can't tell you how many crackheads we came across on our investigations, how many homeless people. They were more scared of us. But again, we didn't know what we were going to encounter, and there was a very real danger. However, Danny and Terry, you're going to be sorry you invited me on this show, because I can't answer a question just with a straight answer, because there's so many shades of gray. There's no black and white. Do you go alone? Well, sometimes, yeah. Are you alone at the supermarket? Are you alone in your car? Are you alone in your house? I'm alone in my apartment right now. And guess what? The paranormal's all around us at all times. Where we are, they are. Can something happen to you? Yeah. It depends on where you're going. Like back when we used to do our urban explorations, you didn't want to go alone, because there were very real dangers. Asbestos, falling roofs, rust, all the physical dangers that if something happened to someone, you needed your team to get you out. But then again, you could argue, well, isn't that what a walkie-talkie is for? Or as far as experiencing paranormal, experiencing something, touching the other side, well, sometimes on purpose, I would separate myself, and I said, you know what, I want to feel what this place feels like, and I would go into tunnels alone and just sit in the dark and say, okay, here I am. Now, if something's going to happen, my buddy with a flashlight isn't going to stop it. Real dangers, yes. Paranormal, not so much. So I feel there's an ebb and flow, a give and take. Like, yes, you want to take precautions, but B, sometimes being alone is that key. And as much as I like to categorize, I'm a big fan of Louisa Rhine. And she would always categorize things. She would break things down into subsections so that they're easily digestible and transmittable. But as much as I do that myself, I always like to throw out all the rules to say, okay, well, one of the things that I hear a lot is, Brian, you think outside the box. Well, I don't like that euphemism, because the box is important. All the things in the box, we want that stuff and the stuff outside the box. So guess what? Why don't we just get rid of the box? Let's consider all these things. And there is no definite right approach, but there are definitely wrong approaches. So as long as you try to stay away from those, you can kind of play in that gray area.
Okay, cool. And those are the things we're going to be talking about next after the break. So we're at the bottom of the hour. So why don't we go out for I think it's like a minute break or so, and come back. And I kind of want to talk to you guys about the TV shows and how real they are, and some of the interesting things we see those researchers do, and to get your take on it. So we'll talk about that after the break. Welcome back, everyone, to Soul and Synergy Radio here on WLTK-DB Talk Radio. Some of the questions that I have is I kind of like got started into watching ghost hunting shows with some pretty big personalities and egos on screen, and some of the things that they did were kind of interesting to watch. So just a general question is what we see on TV for the ghost shows really what it's like, or do they add some interesting music to create drama to kind of keep people watching? How is the ghost hunting in person different from on TV?
I imagine I'll answer this one first. Remember, the shows are entertainment. You watch it for entertainment. Be entertained by them. The producers have to put together a package that sells ad dollars, keeps you watching, and hopefully is entertaining enough that you keep tuning in week after week. Now, I remember back in the day when we used to edit Scared. Now, we were doing this before there was a YouTube, before there was Ghost Hunters, before there was any of this. And this all kind of came up as we're doing our thing, and we had to evolve to each iteration of it. And even though we've been doing this a while, we would get compared with things on TV. And one of the comments I hear all the time is, oh, the music, oh, I can't hear what's going on. And as the editor, I say, well, there's music because there's nothing going on. And it's, I remember watching a clip of Return of the Jedi, the behind the scenes, and there's the Battle of Endor and all these stormtroopers and all these Ewoks and stuff going on out the John Williams soundtrack. And it's just a bunch of people milling about in a field. Not exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, when we feel we get evidence, you better believe we're going to present and say, here, listen to what we found. Mm-hmm. So whatever show you like, whatever show you watch, keep liking it. Watch them all. There's something for everyone. But none of them are documentaries. So you cannot hold them to this high standard to be like, oh, well, this one is better than all. Look, they're all entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Things like this, podcasts, independent shows, books, events, that's where you put the real information out. And that's the thing, the TV shows, it's not meant to babysit us or educate us. So if you want to know more about a topic, you got to do some research.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a huge misconception for people. I think when they watch these shows, they feel like they're being educated on things, and they're getting information on different things and making connections. I know there's certain shows I don't like to watch because it's not the music that bothers me. It is the way people torment spirits.
Yeah, taunting them and making it seem like that's what you're supposed to do, and it's some of the behaviors that kind of are interesting to watch.
That's an important point, but at the same time, again, that's going in with the production that it is there to educate us on the right way. Now, there's one show that we all know. I'm not going to mention it, but demon, a lot of taunting, a lot of aggression. Mm-hmm. That being said, almost every paranormal person I run across says, I don't watch that show, but millions of people are.
Yeah,
like the Kardashians. Who watches the Kardashians? Obviously, millions of people. I don't know any of them, but people are watching because they're being entertained.
Yeah.
And if it's one thing our culture loves, is a train wreck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
That is so true.
I would have to agree with that. And just from on the flip side of it, a couple of things. When I did my ghost story way back in the day, I was so excited to be there, and nobody that was filming, none of the crew even believed in the paranormal. And I was like, what? I mean, so they're producing something. So that was my first real, like, holy crap, they're just doing their job, kind of thing. But then the one show that we won't mention did an episode at a haunted location that I was working at. And in order to get a response, they trashed a room in order to do it. And so I don't know how many times we had to go in and re-put that room back together because people thought that was how paranormal investigating was. So there is a two-sided coin. Yes, these shows have brought paranormal to the forefront where it's more open and easier to talk about and to be out there doing things and to do all the things that we're doing. But at the same time, like Brian said, the fact that it's entertainment is getting lost somewhere, that is just entertainment, that's not how this happens. That's not how, when we do a paranormal investigation, it's not like it was last Friday night on a certain channel. That's not how it works. And so there's a two-sided coin to it. It's helped us a lot, but it's also misinformed as well.
You know what's annoying, ladies, and I'm sure you've come across this all the time. You work in the metaphysical. I'm more in the paranormal space. People watch TV, they monkey see, monkey do, and they assume that's the way it is. So whenever we encounter people, that first section of time is about undoing what they're expecting, unlearning what they've learned from the TV shows, and say, look, it's not like that. There are things that if they inspire you, a lot of people watch the shows, because I want to see a location. I'll never get to go there myself, but I get to see it. Cool. Or equipment that I can't afford to buy. I want to see it in action. Awesome. But if I encounter a black shirt group and they're just textbook imitating, I feel like, oh man, I got a lot of work to do now. Let's get to it. Do you feel that way on the metaphysical, like with psychics and how that's
absolutely? I mean, absolutely. And like, it's one thing, like when I do readings for people, I'm not the Long Island medium. I don't walk around the grocery store telling people things for no reason. It works that way, But at the same thing too, it's like, why do we have shows like the Long Island medium where it's beautiful to make this connection with spirit, but then we flip over to the paranormal and it's absolutely horrifying and terrifying? We're doing the exact same thing. Like, are we not connecting to spirit on both realms? And that's where I feel it's so weird that we can go from one side to the other and it's just this totally dramatic different experience, and it really isn't.
Right. And I think back to Brian's point there, I think that's what I was talking about is when they see these things on TV, how things are, well, whatever, they do the same things instead of learning how to do it for themselves and doing what feels right for them.
Yeah, they mimic.
Yeah, they mimic the shows. And it does drive me a little, even in our metaphysical world, when, it's like, dude, take a breath and just do what feels right, instead of having to be like John Edwards or whatever the case may be, So.
Well, let's put the blame, let's put the onus on the viewer. I mean, nobody watches what's the doctor show with McDreamy? It's been on forever.
Grey's Anatomy.
Nobody watches Grey's Anatomy and then says, I can operate tomorrow. I'm going to be a doctor. Guess what? You've got to go through years and years of medical school. You have to intern. There's a whole process. And in the paranormal, we don't necessarily have that. And those people who try to institute such things are attacked and said, oh, who are you to set up boundaries? Who are you to tell me my way is wrong? And round we go. I remember many years ago, I want to say it was 2007 or 2008. And I was at a convention out in the middle of Pennsylvania that was attached to a popular TV show at the time. And they made the gallant attempt to have a paranormal congress. And we sat in this auditorium and it was like a Senate room. It was this big U shape and the seats were tiered. And we were all the delegations of black shirts and individuals and psychics and everybody sat down. It was like the Senate room in Star Wars. And we all had things to say and shook our fists and were, oh, this is not going to work and we have to try. And it was a gallant attempt. I've never seen anything like it. Yes, we do need some sort of standards, but who will lead that charge? And whoever does, will they survive the ire that it creates?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Destiny?
I don't watch a lot of paranormal shows. I like more, the ones with paranormal investigating. I have watched them. My husband is a big fan of all of them except one. But he watches these, and I'm the type, I sit there, oh no, he didn't say that. Oh no, they didn't. We have fun with it. I do enjoy watching them with him, but I like more of the shows like A Haunting, where families are telling the stories about their experiences. That's more what I'm into. And we were one of those black shirt teams at one time. We've evolved so much. You know, it's not in your t-shirt. That doesn't make you a good paranormal investigator. But I don't condemn anybody that wears the shirts. I've got some Fox Paranormal shirts, and they're pretty awesome. They're black and gold. I have white and gold too, but it's not in the t-shirt. It's in your experience and what you're able to do on an investigation. And I know how some of these teams must feel, because the audience is like, oh, that's fake. That's fake. They fake that. We have caught some genuine stuff that we know 100% for a fact this happened. And then we've had people come at us, oh, no, there was somebody behind that curtain. So I know how it feels when you really get something really legitimate and it is awesome and amazing. Nobody's ever seen this before. And they're like, yeah, how did y'all do that? So.
I deal with that all the time on Paranormal Caught on Camera, and we have to watch the videos, and some of the videos are old and they're blurry and they're pixelated. I'm like, oh, I wish it were clearer. But now we're shooting in 8K, and someone submits something that says that's wow, this is amazing. Look at it. Oh, it's too clear. It must be faked. It must be CGI. Look, you know, we can't please you. We can't please the skeptics either way. Right. But the main thing. And I tell this to the producers all the time. I'm like, look, I wasn't there. So the person who's submitting it, they have the best perspective for this. And that's why I like when they do pull them on to talk about how they captured it, what they did, and why they felt it was paranormal.
And I like that show. And we have friends over and we'll watch it. And then we'll go back, we will rewind it, and we're trying to debunk everything. And it is such an awesome show. I mean, it's like, there's this light that travels down a light pole, and then it goes off down the street, and we're like stopping it like, okay, what is this? And so we came up with Power Surge. If nothing else, we enjoy it because we try to make sense of some of the videos. And some of it is, I am very sure, is very legit.
That's the good thing, because the show is supposed to start a conversation. It gets you guys thinking. It gets you guys examining. And a lot of people say, well, why don't you debunk? Believe me, we all do. They just don't use that footage. But if we debunked every video we saw, the show would be 10 minutes long.
Right.
But the conversation is what's important. I know more about ufology and cryptozoology and other things since coming on that show, because I've been forced to research it to say something passably intelligent. And one of the strengths of that above the other shows, I feel, is that any other investigative show that you watch, when they say, okay, listen to what we caught, you are now staking that on their reputation. And if you believe them and if you like them, you have to believe everything they say. And I find that's a recipe for disaster, a minor disaster. But if you see videos on Paranormal Caught on Camera that you're like, I don't know about this. Yes, question it, examine it, try to debunk it. None of us will take offense to that because they're not our videos.
Right.
It's fun. It's fun.
There you go.
So
there's one that was like totally, only because I live in Minnesota, I was like, oh no, they didn't. There's lights in a circle up in the sky, and I'm like, that's the casino. Like everybody in Minnesota knows that's the casino.
Projected into the cloud?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the casino. The minute they showed their video, I went, no.
Oh, there was one. I remember, you probably remember it. There was a video that went out. It went viral a few years ago, where this thing is going through a driveway, and it looks like Dobby the house elf. It's just this. It looks like a kid with underwear on his head doing the chicken dance in his driveway, and it went viral, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And in my mind, I'm thinking that might be a good video for our show. That very afternoon, William Shatner tweets out something about the video, completely destroying it. And I said, okay, I'm not going to go against Captain Kirk on this. I'll just let it be. But then I think 3 or 4 months later, it shows up on our shot list. I was like, oh, all right, I got to talk about this. We talk about it. They interviewed the mother. They said it wasn't the child. Did he know because of this, that, and the other thing? But I got to say on TV, Dobby is free. So I win the internet.
Nice.
Oh, geez.
That's nice. Yeah. I think I'm kind of going backwards a little bit, and I apologize because we got so into the other stuff. I missed some of my questions.
Okay, go for it.
But, we've been doing, I have a lot of friends that are getting into more stuff, and they talk about, like, before you start the investigations and stuff, what are your rituals? And I'm really curious about, like, I know I protect myself in every situation I go into, I protect myself going into Walmart and in whatever the case may be. But, when I start doing like psychic galleries and stuff like that, there are so many different energies on this side that have attachments and bring things with them. And then you're bringing the energies from the other side in as well, not always of good. So, how do you protect yourself? So when you get done with that investigation, or you get done with whatever that is, even shooting movies, there's got to be stuff that hang around. How do you protect yourself so you don't take it home with you?
Right.
One thing I do, and it's my own unique thing, it's when we leave an investigation, I always speak to the spirits and I say this. Now, look, you can't go with us. I know we've entertained you. Maybe you like us, maybe you don't, but you can't go with us, because if you go with us, we don't know what might happen to you. You could get lost and not be able to get your way back to where you're supposed to be. I try to just scare them into staying where they are. Like, you need to stay right here because something bad could happen. You might go through this little tunnel or something, so stay right where you are. And then we do pray. We are a Christian paranormal team. We have prayer before and after investigations. We were on an investigation about 3 weeks ago, and it was kind of just a curiosity investigation, nothing planned. One of my team members lives 2 or 3 hours away, and she was down visiting, and one of our local team members like, oh, let's go do something. So we did, and we actually just happened to have a bottle of luminol, and so we went to a location where there was a murder-suicide, and it's here local to us. And so we were just like, oh, let's just, it wasn't so much investigate as so much, let's just see if this really happened. And so I was immediately drawn to the exact spot, and I said, it's right here. So they began to spray the luminol, and we could say, hey, yes, this did happen here. One of my team members did start a recording session, and things just got crazy on us. The sky got darker than dark. We could hear footsteps walking around the area we were at. And it just got dark on us. The feeling was eerie. It was to the point where we felt like we were being stalked by something. And I could feel it was getting closer. You know how, like, you just feel like if you're alone, you can feel something's getting closer on you, and you begin to feel like you're its prey. And I had that feeling. And this is one of those times where, like, guys, I know you want to have fun, but we've got to go, and we have to go now. So I did pull everybody out immediately. It was bad. The first thing I requested when we left was, we've got to find a church. We've got to find somewhere. We've got to get on hallowed ground, because this was a dark energy that I felt. It was unsettling. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but my trigger finger, what would be my trigger finger, began to go numb, and the end of my finger turned white. And so we begin to picture, okay, maybe that spirit is trying to mess with you, you know, trigger finger, you shoot one person, you freeze, you squeeze the gun so tight, maybe the end of their finger went numb and white. And I said, we've just got to go. So we did find a church, and we got out of the car and immediately began to ground. I'm open to any methods of grounding, along with prayer. And it took a long time for us to shake that off of us. It affected everybody that was there. So note to self, I will not be going to any more places like that, just to entertain my team members because they're bored. It was risky, but yeah, prayer, grounding, that's what we do.
Okay. Char?
Some of the same. I agree. You know, having that conversation when you leave, definitely, however that looks to each person. And then the grounding and the clearing for sure. And I feel like the grounding and the clearing sometimes can happen multiple times throughout the night. If just step away, whatever you need to do. I pray, connect, whatever. I ask my spirit guides to do most of the communicating so that I'm not allowing somebody to come in and take over me or go through me. And I do that when I do mediumship as well. I ask that the information come through them so it's kind of filtered. So those are kind of some of my protections. Intuition, just listening to when I feel like, you know, something needs to shift or change, leave, ground, clear, whatever, you know, listening to that feeling, that intuition of what's happening and what to do next, for sure.
Yeah. Brian?
I'm bad at this. I am horrible at this. I always forget 2 days later. I'm like, damn, we didn't say anything. We didn't close it. Although I have found, and I don't know if it's actually a thing. I've done a little bit of research on it. I like to take a shower when I get home. Water,
Yep.
breaking up that energy, water, ionizing agents. Back in the early days, I mean, I did it because we were tromping around these abandoned places and I was filthy. So there was a functional reason for it. But I also found that over the years, if I take a shower, that paranormal hangover that we all experience is a little lighter, is a little easier. And as far as attachments go, I can be stubborn. So I found that if I'm at home, I'm doing other things. I'm watching TV, I'm watching movies, I'm working. If a spirit did come and say, hey, I'm going to make a mess of your time, I'm not going to pay attention to you. So, and that's not even that I'm choosing not to pay attention to. I'm just oblivious. So they're going to go find someone who's really going to be affected. But I do think it's important. So knowing that's one of my weaknesses. I tell people that I'm with, please don't forget to do this. And even if you have to call, hey, let's say some words, just say whatever. And usually when I go in, I'll remember to say some kind of light invocation just to say, all right, we're here. Respect, all the usual things. And I like to tell the spirits, we're one team. So don't give them all the activity and leave the rest of us out.
Nice.
Very nice. Well,
I think one thing too that's important is to tell people is grounding stuff is really important, but I tell people to never do the grounding technique of growing roots when you're at an investigation. You don't want to ground yourself, like root yourself into that location. So that is not where you want to do that. So find other grounding techniques. Do the rooting from where you're at a safe space at home or wherever it is that you feel good, but don't grow roots into an investigation location.
Nice.
Very nice.
Never even thought of that. That's pretty cool.
You said a paranormal hangover and everybody agreed. What is that?
Well, I mean, there's the very physiological. You stay up late, you eat like crap, you probably don't drink enough water, so your body is saying, all right, done, you are done, enough. And those next couple of days you feel a little run down, but then at the same time during that investigation you are now opening up to spirit. You are saying come in, so you are now getting hit, you are getting bombarded with whatever chooses to come through, whatever you've experienced. And to shut that down, it's like a computer. Sometimes you have to turn it off and restart it to get back to normal. But also remember, we are spirits in a material world. So as we're opening ourselves up to spirit, hoping to experience something, your teammates on either side or the other event attendees who are going through their own stuff in their life, their stresses, their hopes, all that energy, we're now open to that too. I've been finding this out more and more recently, where the energies of people sometimes mix in a weird way. And because we're all so open empathically, yeah, we're getting hit with things. And just this past weekend at my event, I just got angry, just very sudden. And I was like, off the handle. And luckily, because I've been trying to figure this out, I said, oh, wait a minute. This isn't mine. This isn't my energy. Let me go find a corner. I'll sit down, let that energy pass, let that energy go, because it's not mine, so I'm not going to hold on to it. And then I felt better. I said, oh, okay, whatever that energy is, be it residual or all these other people, that hangover, yeah, we come Monday and Tuesday, we're feeling the after effects.
I think I can relate a little bit, maybe not in the investigating part, but Char knows. After 2 days at our event this last weekend over in Brainerd, Tuesday, I think I was finally normal again. You know?
If anytime there's any kind of energetic work going on, you're expending so much of yourself that it's like running a marathon. Like, you're just exhausted, but it's all energy. And so it is, after even a holistic fair or doing like a gallery or readings all day, you're just like done. Like, your energy's just zapped. And it's true, the paranormal hangover, it's a thing. You know, even after being at like an event all weekend, you know.
I had this conversation literally yesterday. I was training one of my apprentices, and she's a marathon runner, and that's a foreign world to me. I am not I don't exercise because I'm horrible, but she tells me about the runner's high, and she's like, you got to push through it. You feel horrible, and then you feel euphoric. And I'm thinking, can we get this for the paranormal? Can we get an investigator's high that we spend all night staying up and then we're clued in? I want that.
Yeah, that would be really nice to be able to come to work Monday and actually feel like you can function and get through the day without wanting to lay down on the Reiki table and take a nap.
Yes, I know.
I
know.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, before we get into the next topic, because it'll go over the top of the hour, I think we should take one of our last breaks here at the top of the hour and get back to some interesting questions for you. So Todd, let's go to a break.
Download the new station calendar and never miss another show. To get it is simple and free. Just visit WLTK-DB.com to download or tap the subscribe button on our mobile app. Once the file is in your downloads folder, just double-click it, authorize it to your calendar, and boom, you have every show listed. Not only does it list the shows, but also the links to watch them live. We would like to thank Danny Loosemore for developing this for us and hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Get yours now at WLTK-DB.com or just click subscribe on our mobile app. See you at the shows. Put the power of this station in the palm of your hand and download our mobile app. Visit the App Store, Google Play, and search for WLTK-DB Talk Radio and download the app for free. Listen to past shows, download our station calendar right to yours, and even shop. The WLTK-DB Talk Radio mobile app, now available on the App Store and Google Play. Download yours now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Soul and Synergy Radio. And we have some wonderful guests from the paranormal with us. I just have a couple of questions for you. And I think Char will identify with this a little bit more. But when we're doing work, like if I'm doing my tarot card reading or she's doing mediumship or channeling, and Terry forgets to put off his phone, we're getting messages from Spirit to relay to our clients, and sometimes those messages come through as pictures in our mind or images or something, because spirit touches us in some way energetically, and we're able to get that message coming through. When you're doing a paranormal investigation, and someone says, hey, I heard that, or hey, I just saw that, if it, how do I want to say it, and other people don't see it, could the spirit be coming through your mind and making you hallucinate that you see something, or making you think that you saw something, just as it does in a mediumship reading, or the spirit can come through and give you that experience?
Absolutely. I think it's the same connection. So when I'm connecting to spirit for a reading or in a location, I do it the exact same way. So that's how I receive my information. That's how, it's just like a TV channel. That's how the broadcast comes through to me. So it wouldn't be any different for me. So it stays the same. Sometimes it's a little different because during a mediumship reading, I don't always physically see the spirits, but on investigations, sometimes they pop up like that. So there's a little bit of altering, but it's how I receive things. It's how my receptors work. And they're really not that much different. The only difference is in an investigation, sometimes there's equipment with that kind of helps validate that, or some other stuff comes through other than what's just coming through me.
Right. So how can you tell the difference between spirit just messing with your mind and everybody being able to notice the same thing?
Crazy. I don't know. It's a really great question. I think I just have to go with what I know. I can't, and if nobody else resonates with it, and that happens during readings with a client, I'll say something, they're like, that doesn't mean anything. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Moving on to something else. I can't make everything that happens to me valid for 100% of the people. I can only do what I know. And if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it's okay. And there's also the whole simple fact too, that different spirits resonate with different people. People resonate to certain people because they like them. They have simpler experiences. They have a past life experience that's the same. And sometimes those spirits see you and go, oh my God, you've been through what I've been through. I can tell my story to you and it'll make sense. You will have empathy to tell this story. So sometimes you only get the message because you're the one that they want to tell the story to.
Right.
In parapsychology, we take all the clairs, clairaudience, clairsentience, all the clairs, and we just whittle it down to clairvoyance. And it is just a sense like any other. And I think, again, what the TV shows do are put the psychic mediums in the box of superhero. It's a gift. It's, just like anything else. Some people see better. I need these now. Our senses, we start losing hearing. The brain is constantly trying to decode all the input that's coming in. So those senses, a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, I smell my grandmother's perfume, or I smell a cigar. Now, the way smell works, there need to be particles in the air for that to happen, but that's not what's occurring. Those cigar or perfume particles aren't in the air, but the spirit is accessing a memory, massaging, if you will, a portion of your brain that says, you know what this smells like. I can't speak to you. You can't see me, but I've got to get a message to you. And this is how I'm doing it. So again, it's our brain cluing in to some input in the environment. And just like sight and sound, some people see better, some people hear better, some people receive better.
Absolutely.
Destiny?
I'm quite clairsensitive and clairvoyant. When I'm on an investigation, the spirits will speak in this ear. I can hear them, and a lot of times I'll tell the team, I hear a voice. Hang on, I can hear it inside, and then it's verified on the EVPs. I'll say, like, I can't make out what they're saying because they're far away. And then the EVP, sure enough, you can hear a voice off in the distance trying to communicate. I do smell things. Like, I have a friend that whenever she's around for a long time, I would smell cigar smoke. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I said, sweetheart, who in the world is following you around that smokes cigars? I said, it's driving me crazy. Every time you're around, I smell cigars. And she said, oh, I don't know. Oh, that would be my grandfather. She said he rolled cigars. He was Cuban. He worked in a cigar shop. And I was like, yeah. Well, after we recognized that, and then she was aware that Grandpa was following her around, I didn't smell it anymore. So when you're investigating, you do have to use all your senses.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta roll into that one. You gotta roll into that one with a sense of humor and be like, Phantom 1 is on the move. Okay, here we
go.
Yeah.
Right.
Spirits will come to you in different ways, trying to get your attention. Not all the time do we go in and, we see a shadow running across the wall, or we hear stuff being banged around. I mean, sometimes you just have to use your senses to realize they're there, because they do use different things to get your attention. Like something just as small as touch. We were on an investigation, and my hair, the only way it could get my attention was it was picking up my hair. And so we're standing there, and I'm like, Michael, look at my hair. And it was just a twig of hair, and it was just moving around, smaller than what I'm holding up. It was just moving around in circle. It began to twirl my hair, and they're just looking at me, and I'm like, y'all need to do something. Stop. It's annoying. Make it stop. But yeah, they do use different things to get your attention.
Yeah, for sure.
And now moving on to instrumentation. One of the things that really interests me is when you're listening to EVPs, or someone has headphones on, someone's asking a question over here, and you're hearing an answer. I think I saw that on one of the shows. But as you're listening to the EVP, there's a concept called pareidolia, where if you think you're hearing something, you'll hear it out of random noise on a recording. That can be shown in some of the things that have come across the internet, where if you're thinking one word, this sound comes through as that word. If you're thinking the other word, that sound comes through. How do you make sure that the things you're recording isn't just like the sentence that you think it's saying? How do you make sure that it's coming through as an accurate thing?
There's the rub. How do we ensure we don't? The videos that you're mentioning, God, there's a name to that effect. I forget it at the moment because it's still too early in the morning. But yes, all like I said before, all our senses are trying to decode input coming in. So there's one that says that your mouth moving in a certain way will clue your brain into what you should be hearing. Right. And in absence of that, there's also something called mondegreen. And you all know what a mondegreen is. It's a misheard song lyric. So there's a bathroom on the right. Excuse me while I kiss this guy. These are things that have liner notes to it, and living people at the time that could say, oh, this is what I said. And yet we still hear something else. So what does that mean for listening to EVPs? So listening back to them, anytime I have a session, I'll say, oh, I hear something. Two syllables. What do you guys hear? And I try not to seed what I hear, because once I say it, you're going to hear it. And one of the videos that's out there right now, Green Needle, Brainstorm, depending on what you're thinking, that's what you'll hear. Or the Laurel and Yanny thing of a few years ago. Our brains are very complex, but also fallible instruments. There's a part of the brain called the fusiform gyrus, and its entire job is facial recognition. It's trying to make order out of chaos. So be it our sight or our ears, we're trying to figure things out. So yeah, there is no way to 100% say, yes, Danny, this is the way, where there's going to be no error. If we did an EVP session right now, maybe 4 of us would hear something, but Terry would be like, oh, I hear something else. And he might be right. I'm getting very worked up on this.
I see that.
Well, I think I see it on Kindred Spirits, where he puts the mask on and the earphones on. And I'm not sure what that's all about.
The Estes method, no.
Brian's leaving the stage.
What is that? What?
You thought I was worked up before.
But yeah, he's
I'm
over
with you,
here.
Brian. I'm
He's
with you
asking
on that one. I
questions.
don't like it at all.
Now, here's the
Okay.
thing. I'm always up for experimentation. I always think it's good to try new things, to open
Mhm.
yourself up to new methods. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. But again, this is an instance where TV has disseminated something that, not that it's bad, but it's not exactly accurate. The information, people are like, well, when you blindfold yourself, your hearing gets better. What are we, Matt Murdock? Are you Daredevil? That's not how it works. You have to be devoid of sight for some time for your other senses to develop those neural pathways. So, and it also has a sexy name, the Estes method, based on the Estes Park where the Stanley Hotel is. Oh, haunting, shining. So everyone just assumes validity. And you have some of my colleagues doing it on TV that are like, yeah, Estes method, great. Some of this is based on Gansfeld technique. Now, back in the 1900s, I think it was the 60s or the 70s, the Gansfeld method said that, okay, your psychic, your ESP, you are having a hard time getting that signal through because there's signal noise. Your sight and your ears, there's too much input coming from the world around you. So if we could somehow lessen that, put you into a state of sensory deprivation. So they would put people in a room, put things on their eyes to lessen the light, not completely blind them, but lessen the light. Red light was used. They would put headphones on, not to listen to a spirit box, but to get rid of that noise. And after at least 45 minutes, they felt, okay, people would then go into a hypnagogic states. Like when you close your eyes, eventually you start to see things. When you deprive yourself of that, your mind wanders. In a separate room, someone would be looking at pictures and trying to mentally project that to that person. After the session was over, they would bring the person who was under to the room and show them 4 pictures. And they say, hey, do any of these mean anything to you? And hopefully the point of the experiment was that, yes, by getting rid of that other noise, the mind would be more open to that psychic signal to be able to receive the input that the experimenter was sending. Now on TV, you're having a person with a spirit box on a blindfold going, death, oh, pain, oh, I hear, and they've got people in the room that they're narrating to. They're trying to please. They're trying to mentally create that storyline. And okay, to their credit, the other investigators are asking questions, but we're human beings. We make things fit. I would rather, and with the Estes method, there could be 80 people in the room. You are only getting the perspective of that one person. And it's very important to get other perspectives. Perfect example. I've been doing a variation, and I'm sorry to be taking up all the time, but I've been doing a variation of this experiment way before this, and I call it the dual output spirit box experiment. Clunky, it's not Estes, but you have 2 people listening to the same spirit box. You're writing down everything you hear, and the gallery is asking their questions in secret. Then we see if those answers match up. Now, here is the rub. Upon reading this, Dustin Perry and I did this aboard the USS Salem last year. Someone asked the question. We read our answers. So Dustin reads, cats, thing, blah, 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 blah. I'm dead. Ooh, I'm dead. Okay, that's something. All right. Now it's time for me to read my answers. Now remember, I'm listening to the exact same spirit box. Bridge, cat, blah, 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 in debt. In debt. I'm dead. Phonetically, very similar. We're listening to a radio. Most likely there was a commercial saying, do you owe $30,000 more to blah, blah, blah? Are you in debt? Do you have trouble paying your bills? Okay. Through the narrative of one person, if we only got the one person that said, I'm dead, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And like, oh, yes, we're investigating. We're making contact. But just the one other perspective, we came together and said, oh, yeah, you know what? It probably was a commercial. Debunked. Now, that's not to say that you can't get spirit communication via these methods, but we're almost deluding ourselves before we even start. That's my problem with the Estes method.
Okay.
Char?
Right.
I agree as well, because again, you only have that one person that can hear the box. So it's whatever they're interpreting it to be, whatever they want to make. And like Brian said, they're making up the narrative too. And, you know, and I'm not saying that everybody's cheating or doing anything bad, but it's just, it's really, it's set up to fail more than anything. It just isn't very valid. And I like, you know, Brian's idea too. We did something similar. We had on different floors of a hotel, we had Greg downstairs with the spirit box. I had a medium upstairs who had put on a blindfold and ears, you know, headphones, so that she couldn't hear or see anything. And she was channeling, and what Greg was getting through the spirit box matched what she was channeling, like names and things like that. So now we have not only one person getting information from a spirit box, but we had 8 or 7 people all having the same experience, all feeling it, got EVPs that actually answered the spirit box that we didn't hear until later. And so, and what happened was, I feel like because we channeled and we had the spirit box, the spirit that had been lost finally heard their mother's name, like heard their mother come through, and we were able to reunite them. And that was the whole purpose of it, to help. And but for somehow, some way, we crossed through and opened a channel by what we did for the spirit to be able to communicate. And it wasn't really about us communicating anymore. It was about that spirit finally heard that mom's voice come through. And that was it. And it was like, to us, that's why we do this, right? You know, that was the whole purpose of doing it. And so somehow between what we did, we managed to make it work for the spirits. It wasn't about what we were doing anymore. It was like, we helped them. And I can't explain how we made it happen, but that little boy screamed mom the minute the medium started talking about who she was. And it was like, oh, what just happened? You know?
Mm-hmm. So Jenny says she uses a short wave spirit box.
What is that?
I believe, because we were talking about, like Brian said, mate, was it a radio channel or a radio commercial coming through?
Could be.
And the shortwave probably doesn't pick up on stuff. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either. But what about, and I always think these are the fun ones. What about the objects that you leave on the floor and they roll across and the lights come on when a spirit touches
Cat balls.
Cat balls.
Yeah.
Or the music box.
I love those.
Yeah. So are those more accurate? I mean, you're not going to hear, but you're going to see, right? Are those more accurate tools that you would use maybe to see if something's actually in the space at all?
I don't know.
I think you can, but I think at the same time you have to kind of debunk it too. If it goes off, did somebody make a noise too close to it? Is the floor level? I mean, we carry a level with us. Some of these old buildings are very unlevel. You know, if a ball rolls, did you put it in the spot where the floor slanted? You know, so you have to have some kind, you know, is it valid? Is it actually doing its thing? Sometimes, yes, it is. Sometimes, you know, you bumped the table and nobody saw it, but somebody owns up to bumping the table and that's what made it go off, you know? So I think anything could work, but you have to be able to not jump on the bandwagon of everything that happens as spirit is something else that made it happen.
Accelerometer, the use of accelerometers is nothing new. We've had them in various devices for years, and it's an easy way to make something happen so that we can perceive it. That being said, I know it because it's on TV. Cat balls are everywhere. Cat balls. But cat balls are cheap, and investigators are poor. We need our money for other things. So yeah, I always tell people you don't need to be Bruce Wayne to investigate the paranormal. Sometimes simple is best, as long as you understand the concept, how it works, why you're using it, and like Char says, what's the validity? If you can eliminate all those other reasons, we go back to Sherlock Holmes. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Destiny?
I would love to do an investigation, just old time methods, baby powder. I have a friend that suggested putting a ping pong ball in a jar, wind chimes in a jar, just less electronics. Electronics can be manipulated. You know, there's power lines, and somebody told me this. I don't know if it's true, but they can be manipulated. So I like to go baby powder, sprinkle baby powder everywhere. Dust, you know, one of the best pieces of evidence we ever got was from dust on my car. We were investigating a location and there was a little girl there, and I actually felt her come and put her arms around my legs like she was hugging me. And everybody kept saying, "Did you hear a little girl? Did you hear a little girl?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I heard that." Well, the next day we get home and there's little child's handprints all over the dust that was in my car, on the outside of my car. So, yeah, I like the old-timey methods of investigating.
Yeah, I think connecting in with your intuition and feeling the energies are always the best way. At least for me, they are. I do have the cat balls. I bought them. I haven't used them yet, but I have them. So I think my intrigue with the music box. So I might end up getting one of those. Yeah.
And we've got my husband bought for like $5. He's got this, the little static balls, you touch it and the little lightning bolts will go wherever you touch it.
Eye of the storm.
We haven't used that yet, but I'm looking forward to taking that on an investigation. Because if something touches it, I mean, there it goes.
Yeah.
Can
Right.
you
That's
rub
your
your
story.
finger with that? Sure. I think it'd be cool. I can't wait. I'll have
That's
fun
interesting. We have one of those.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Grab
Well, in the last 10 minutes with you guys, I have one more question for you. What is your favorite tool to use and why? Besides your head, Char.
Oh,
I mean, what seems to get the answer all the time?
Mine
that's
would
a
be
tough
just a
question.
recorder.
The recorder?
Mm-hmm. That's a must-have, like recorder above anything else for sure. And I guess I don't know. That's a tough one because everything else is kind of, it can work one place and not another place, so it's hard to say. But if I'm going somewhere with Greg, I'm better believe the spirit box, because I don't know how he gets that thing to work, but he gets it to work pretty well, and we get But at the same time, we bring a recorder to record that, to go back and listen to it to see what we actually heard. So the recorder.
The recorder?
Yeah, I third that with the recorder, because anything else, there's more ways to manipulate it. There's more ways to go, well, it could be that. Whereas when you're all being quiet in a room and no one has said anything and another voice pops up, okay, well, whether it's coming from us or it's coming from spirit, wow, that's something. So for me, it's simple, it's small, fits on my belt.
And yeah, we got a message here that says cassette Panasonic recorder, not a digital recorder.
Oh.
Those are still, if you could find the tapes, they're still pretty popular.
Yeah. Awesome. So what about having spirit text you? Because they have those little boxes on TV.
Please text me. Unlimited data.
Yeah, and these boxes where spirit is writing words to the investigator. Is that got any validity?
Validity. Things are only as valid as one's willingness to believe in its authenticity.
Okay, now, then in your professional opinion, then
anything that we use, be it a spirit box, an ovilus, anything that could potentially deliver random results. I always tell people, institute a password. I've been saying this for 15 years now. Password, people, password. Make it up on the spot. Make it maybe one word, 2 syllables, say purple. All right, tonight's password is purple. If you could say purple, 2 things are accomplished. A, spirit can hear you, understand you. 2, if they're able to make it come across that necrophonic app or your spirit box or something, then they can successfully interface with your device. And what that does, it tries to weed out randomness and bias. You turn on a spirit box, we're storytellers, we're creatures of habit. Any sound that comes out, we will make fit to the location somehow. But if we hear that password and it's generally accepted that, that we heard that, everything that comes after it might be less of a coincidence. Not 100%. We can never say definite, but we'd feel better because we instituted that pass key phrase.
Okay.
Same. We do the same thing with a certain word or a phrase or something, and then it has nothing to do with where we are. at all, something completely different. And then always take what resonates. I mean, I kind of a play on the shows too. They get in the obvious, they get the word bread. They're like, did you get stabbed by a loaf of bread? You know, it's like that's not relevant, you know? So it's like what resonates and what's relevant, but we do the certain phrase or word about something that has nothing to do with where we are as well.
Okay.
How about you, Destiny?
Just the same. Set up a passcode. Mine's usually Pepsi.
Awesome.
Nice.
What about the machines that they throw like these dots on the wall and it shows a figure, like a stick figure walking around?
Oh, the structured light sensor.
Yeah.
We have one and we use it, but we have found that even a chair, it will form a stick person on a chair because it's trying to outline the chair. So when you're using that, you have to really watch what you're pointing it at. Now, if you're pointing it at a wall and it starts forming a stick figure, we also will ask, can you raise your leg up? Let us know that we're really looking at you. Can you wave at us? And we have been successful. It has moved, I don't want to say on command, but us asking spirit to move, we have gotten movement.
I think the technology is not all the way there yet. It's a good start. We're in the infancy, but you have to remember, this technology was developed to control a video game. So nobody has built one from scratch. It's all kit bashing and adapting to our use. So what the sensor wants to do is figure out where the body is so that it knows how to control the game. So whether it's down the hall in front of you, if it detects an anomaly, it says, oh, this is 3 feet off the ground. All right, that must be the torso. Extrapolating, okay, we know it's attached to the torso. It's going to try to build arms. And that's why it's always so janky, because it's trying to fill out that whole image. Now, think about this. Why would spirit be anthropomorphic? If it's just an energy field, or if it's mental, does that energy in the environment have to assume a stick figure shape? It might just be a ball of energy. It might just be a cloud. Why would it show up as a stick figure? Because that's what we understand, and that's what the device was meant to do. The device does not care about ghost hunting. It wants to control your Dance Revolution game. That's what it's built to do. So we're not there.
Nice.
Not there quite yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
All right. And as we close this segment, where can people find you coming up? Where might you be that the public can enjoy your radiance?
They can't find me anywhere. Go ahead, ladies.
We're gonna be at Strasburg, Virginia in June. I don't know the exact dates. It's on our page. Also in September, we're going to be in Sleepy Hollow, New York. And of course, I am not going to miss the Warrens Secrets of the Supernatural this year. Last year, all my friends were sending me pictures. Look at this. I'm like, I can't go. But we will be there this year.
Okay.
Excited.
Awesome.
Oh, in Alabama. We're going to be in Alabama in August. I'll post those dates on our page. It's going to be the Deep South Paracon. They put on a great Paracon last year. It was phenomenal. We're looking forward to it this year.
For Destiny, is it foxparanormal.com?
Yes, foxparanormal.com. I also have a little fun little group. It's called the Paranormal Fox on Facebook. You can find our page at Fox Paranormal. We're also on TikTok. We've got some cool videos. I actually have a video that a team member found where, using the portal, the necrophonic app, Spirit was screaming out for Michael, screaming out, Michael Fox. I mean, it was cool. It was our first time ever using a portal. So I did post that video. It is on our TikTok. Michael and Destiny Fox at Fox Paranormal 22.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. Char?
Well, you can go to my page, charvinity.com, and I have all my events listed there. I'm at a million different holistic fairs, but on June 3rd, I'll actually be at Waverly Hills doing an event there. Me and Greg are the headliners there, so that'll be fun. And then in August 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, we're doing a show or an event at the Anderson House in Wabasha, Minnesota. Oh my God, I can't talk. Wabasha, Minnesota is really hard to say, apparently. And we have Dave Schrader as our guest for that. Every month on the first Wednesday of the month, we do Ghost Stories and Beyond in Anoka at Billy's Bar and Grill, which is also very haunted. So we do that every month as well. And we have a few other things that we're working that we haven't announced yet, but we have some other events and things coming up as well.
Okay. And then we can, if you want readings with Char, she'll be with us tomorrow here in Eau Claire, and then on Alaska on May 13th.
Nope, I'm not at that one.
No,
I'll be at Detroit Lakes and Alexandria.
Detroit Lakes and Alexandria, Minnesota. Yeah. Okay.
All right. How about you, Brian?
You could find out everything I'm up to at neverstopsearching.com. If you click that events page, the things coming up, I'm going to be at Paracon 3 in Ansonia on May 13th and 14th. Parapsychon 4 at the awesome Ohio State Reformatory, May 20th and 21st. Very special event, the very last performance of Pathways on the USS Salem with Dustin Parry, June 10th. Lots of things to do, lots of things to see, and my History of the Paranormal mobile exhibit is going state to state. Next one is West Virginia, and later this year, Kansas. So go to my website for all the details, neverstopsearching.com.
And I believe you're going to be at the Michigan Paracon.
I am.
We will be there as well.
Yeah, we'll be pending at that one. So
yeah.
So
it's a 3-dayer, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It grows every year. Every year it like encroaches. Like now it's people are arriving on Wednesday, so they're like, oh, let's have a little programming soon. It's gonna be a month-long event.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we would really like to thank you for joining us on our little show.
Yeah.
It was a very wonderful experience for us and for our audience. It's really great to see the ghost hunters, and we'll be having more topics such as this in our upcoming episodes. But
I was just thinking, Char is close to us, and maybe I can join her one time.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll want to do that.
No ghost hunting for me.
But maybe I can meet up with you, Char, sometime and experience what you guys go through.
Absolutely.
That'd be wonderful. Well, thank you very much. We're going to go to break, and we're going to bring on Patty Q for her mediumship reading for the week. So thanks again, everyone.
Bye,
really
guys.
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Bye-bye.
The Body Code is a revolutionary method of energetic healing developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which allows us to quickly and easily identify specific imbalances that seem to underline chronic ill health, acute and chronic pain, and discomfort, dysfunction, and stress. Ellie energetically connects with the subconscious of the client. Psychic medium Ellie Weisensell is a medical intuitive and energy healer, and a certified body code practitioner. She identifies and clears energetic imbalances within the body and energy field. Contact Ellie at the website below, and Ellie can work remotely from a distance, by phone, online, video chat. There's no need to travel to an office. Remember, the Body Code is safe for humans and animals. Contact Ellie today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Soul and Synergy Radio. And of course, as we do every week, we have the wonderful Patty Q.
Hello.
Who has messages for us for the week. So take it away.
Okay, so it kind of fits into today's show to talk about things that are unexplained, to talk about things that are, that really go bump in the night or really disrupt your life. So while I was listening to the show today, my guides all come with the same message, and they say life really is joyful, but there are all these things that make a person think about things extra hard, make things like, I don't know what I would do if I was in the middle of a room and all that was happening around me, because I don't know, or am I?
Yeah.
So you almost have to push yourself further. So they say, be a part of something if it intrigues you, be a part of something that makes you happy, be a part of something that gives you quality of answers that you're looking for, be a part of that thing that is unexplained. So a lot of the things that, people do in readings are very unexplained. The way that you receive information, the way I receive, or Terry or anybody, is information that is just there for you, because you can't hear what I hear and I can't hear what you hear. So the promoting part is what they kept telling me today, was promoting. So if your guest speakers that's what they do, and so their guides, their people promote them in that direction, and they help them figure it out. And it's really no different than what I do.
All right.
So then it's like, well, if I step outside of myself, what does that mean? What am I going to hear? And they're like, are you kidding, really? Because people who do readings, or I should say that promote themselves at a level that is high, you can hear anything that you want to hear. All you have to do is ask.
Right.
So if there are people out there that are intrigued by it, move with it the same way you would want if you were asking for a wellness reading, or direction in your life, or is this the true love of my life? Things like that spirit can help with. So it's the system is really the same.
Pretty much. I also want to, you're going to be with us 2 days a week at least.
Yes.
So we're welcoming her as a practitioner here at Soul and Synergy. She'll be able to do readings for clients on either day, or even some of the off days too. But one of the exciting things that we have coming up are a couple of different sessions that we've been designing. And one of which that I'm really excited about is a group where we're going to be assigning spirit guides. Where people will come in with a list of things they want to accomplish in their life. And Patty will work with them and assign them a spirit guide through spirit paintings and spirit art to kind of give them an identifier, a connector that says, this is what's going to help me achieve this goal that I came in with today.
And that process is the same as asking for information. So like, we're doing what we know, and your guest earlier used the same system, really. But the cool thing about being assigned a spirit guide enhances who you are, and it helps you believe that you're not going crazy, or you have more strength than you know, or it has a place. So if you sit there with just this little conversation and think, I would really want to be a part of that, it promotes you. It kind of nudges you, if you will, to exactly what we're talking about. So you're not going to do it if it's not right for you, of course, but who's to say? Only you can say. So the designation of spirit guide is something that I've been really working hard with. I have a lot of them who have been with me with this building. And it's important to realize that they're very thorough in connecting a person to a spirit guide. It just doesn't happen because I say so. It happens because it's approved. It's okay. And so that's a system in which this session will occur. And you talked about art. There's going to be symbolic pieces that I paint that are just for you. So you come, and I know the spirit guide who's with you, and you can have this symbol to complete the cycle,
Right.
if you will.
Yeah, connect the dots. For sure.
Mhm.
We have some questions up here. How do you know what you hear is actually spirit guides or a
Very good.
maligned ego?
Very good. See, that's a really good question. I don't think you really are satisfied with that answer until you go through the levels to train your mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like with that question, you have to sit quiet in your space and do nothing with it, but just sit and allow that message to get closer.
Mm-hmm.
And what you feel and how you feel is a reading to that connection. Now, being everyone has a soulful being, obviously. If your soul connects easily with it, that is a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign. It is a trigger for you to connect. If your mind and your education is pushing you past that connector that is soulful, you will get wrong information. So you can't really say that your mind, your educated mind, is healing your path or leading your way. To a point, yes. But what I'm saying is that to find answers, it comes from your being, your self-control, your awareness, and your ability to take that situation or that conversation and get your answer. They will answer and they will give you information. You have to work for it.
Okay.
Definitely have to work for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, for myself, it's the listening to what my body's feeling instead of the self-talk that's happening in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, the ego talk to keep you pigeonholed into what your ego thinks you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, kind of expanding beyond that and not listening to the self-talk, but listening to what you feel.
Yeah.
And just being aware of what those feelings mean to you. I think that's more so the communication on my part that really works.
Well, it can be a level playing field. It can be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask for it. You know, you have to know going in what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very instinctual, really. So, you know, everybody has that toolkit. Everybody has it. So how do you use it?
Right.
And it's really a lot about that group session that we're going to have too, is because you can be just wondering about it and you could get the best spirit guide is going to stay with you to help form your existence, to help you heal naturally. And that's what that's for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we're going to be doing with Patty is some online education.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing pre-recorded sessions that and like pre-recorded kind of almost learning techniques and learning tools and all of that, and offering it as an online education session, which I think is going to be very exciting.
It is. I'm excited about it. I really am. The links to which I receive information is like, if you can imagine a room full of spirit guides and they're all just looking at their clock it's about time, we need to start this here. And they use their presence to allow for the information to flow. So whether it's, you know, with either of us, it's coming with purity. It's coming from the point and the place of recognizable wellness. And it fits so well. You can take that information and just listen to it and allow it to circulate, allow it to be with you, and you will recognize what it's for. It is a message that is for you or for anyone to listen to. And you can either say, no, I don't believe that, or whatever, but it is very believable and it is very truthful. So everyone will get something out of that.
Definitely. And we have a question from Sherry up there on the chat board. And we also have a troller on there, Todd, from Twitch, it appears, that's rolling in the comments. But from Sherry, she says, I'm going to try and reach out. Do you have anything for me from the other side today? Really appreciate your time.
Sherry. It is. And it doesn't have to do with the program today, but for Sherry, it's almost like you're fearful of things that you are unaccustomed to. So you need to allow for your spiritual wellness to help guide you, and then ask for clarity. So this is why I think that you put yourself kind of in a corner and watch things around you when you should kind of participate with what is wellness. So even by having this conversation, my people go to you and ask you what it is you're looking for through your spiritual wellness, through your mind's eye. And what they're asking you today is to just be calm. The place in which you are today is kind of it's not very balanced, but it's almost like if you had a really nervous day, you feel really nervous, and those things can be balanced and smoothed with spiritual connectors, and that's something that you should have for peace. And without not going into a session or anything, I would say that some of the things you believe in are not true. And some of those things are making you frustrated or putting you in a place where it doesn't feel good. So enhance the natural ability that you have is exactly what you need to do.
All right. Wonderful. We have one more there from Jackie. She would love a message if there's time. And of course there is.
Jackie, there are things that people use in their life to connect with. So like whether I hold stones a lot or I wear stones. Jackie, you're one of those people that if you hold on to something that is a connector, you receive information well. Your belief system is almost there where you could receive enough information to say that I really feel good about what I just experienced. And that for you, Jackie, is the kind of like there's a turning point in one person's life where you never look back and you're almost there. So information is very good, kind of needs to be smoothed out a little bit, but basically you've done a lot of this on your own. Your ability to share information to other people can be very smooth and very guided. So you are one of those people that would sit well with spirit guide that is enhancing what you've already done. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And nice job, by the way.
Great. Mm-hmm. I would like to see if you would have a message for my good friend Mary Spindler. She's with Ruby Winds, and you'll probably see her.
Yes, I hope so. Mm-hmm. Mary is one of those people that is, you're very kind. She's very soulful. So the beings that are with Mary are give her happiness and wellness when it comes to who she is. And it's almost like if there were anything else you needed to discover or train yourself on, it might be too much, because I really feel like where Mary is at feels fulfilling. Mm-hmm. And it actually is a very good space to be in. Mary has a lot of people that love her. Mm-hmm. So that feeling of being a part of that same cycle of like love and kindness is very much how she propels and promotes herself. Mm-hmm. And that's very good. I love that. Yes. Mary's a kind soul.
Yes, definitely. With a badass crystal ball, I can tell you that. Yeah, definitely. And then one more, if you could, please, for my friend Melanie. She's a mainstay here at the shop. I think we're going to be deducting from her payroll soon. So yeah, could you give a message out for Melanie?
Melanie. And I almost like when we said your name, it's almost like she went like just kind of sat with her breath. Mm-hmm. Your Melanie is very it's one of those people that realizes things before someone else. And Melanie is a person that guides message through her. Melanie is a person that gives more than she receives. And sometimes that's not always good. So Melanie is one of those that says out loud, I really do need to treat myself better. And if you think about it, Spirit is telling me that she really needs to treat herself better and become that person that receives the fulfillment alongside. That's not easy. I had a hard time with that one. And I have to say that you really know what you're doing, and it won't take much. So, and the other thing that they say for Melanie is that if you had a crystal ball for everything you did in one day, it would never be correct enough because you always look for the highest. So that's not bad. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another one here from Shell Kitzrow, another good friend of ours. I would appreciate a message if you have one.
Shell
Mm-hmm.
is a multitasker. Shell is a doer. What was the do-gooders? A do-gooder. And Shell is very willing to experience things outside of herself. So Shell is a kind of waits for, if you would, like that, the gravy train of information, and she doesn't think she has what it takes often enough.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to say one thing to Shell, it would be to be that calm in the middle of a storm and know that you're going to be okay because everything around you may be exploding, but it's not yours. So the peace of mind is being able to do exactly that in the worst of times. Mm-hmm. And the thing that Shell already understands is that there really is no black or deep that evades you. It's only your apprehension to figure out what's in that deep black. Mm-hmm. So I like the information that comes for Shell as well. All these people seem to have this beautiful white light thing going for them. They have that direction that's already propelling them to go to that place, to be that person. So all the ones that we just talked about have that white light, and it is existing. It is a path former, and it guides you. So if you'd never talk to any of us ever again, would you find all these answers out on yourself for yourself? Sure.
Yeah.
It would take you longer, but sure, yes, you would.
And that's why they have, or people like us are around to be able to provide messages and stuff. And I'm always amazed how people come to you just at the right time for a message.
It's timing is everything. And it's always done through social, spiritual connectors. You know, they work at that. They push people in a direction that they know through that direction, they're going to find a place to be happier, whether it's for a reading or whether it's a group of people or whatever. Spirit does that for us.
Do you think Spirit has like a bulletin board with want ads that says, I need someone on earth that is able to help a person with this?
Yeah.
And then another spirit says, oh, I have someone for that.
Yeah.
Let's connect and let's do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
Kind of using us to auction us.
Yeah. So they have those little sticky tacks to put on a person's name to say, okay, she needs help. Well, it's kind of like that way, but in a message and a system that we can never comprehend the fullness of it.
But that's just my way of dumbing it down.
Well, no, and I get it, because you got to visualize the starting point there, and they use everything we touch as a connector. So if I really wanted to know if my soul was a good soul, what would I do? Well, you don't have to do more than that to think about it. Spirit hears that, sees that, feels that, and then connects through your life path and points you in that direction. Everybody has this. Everybody has it. So it's how well do you hear? How well do you see it and feel it?
Right. And what do we do if we feel like we're blocked from hearing things? How do we get through that?
There's a message in a block. A block through spiritual beings of wellness, through any spiritual being really, is meant for you to stop and hold your position, but then they don't come with the answer. So then it truly is a block. So it's almost like the millions of spiritual do-gooders, there's not enough of them. You received the block because you were supposed to have that block in your path. We're just going to go with that for an example. And it starts to hurt. You start to physically feel that stop, and you can't see past it. So a reading actually propels and promotes you past that event in your life, and it makes you see things of what's coming new. It pushes you past that block. Does a block need to be entirely exploded? Mostly no, because in a lifespan, you were meant to have that block for a reason that you have not yet identified. And so when you know it's coming, when you are so fully aware, you can deal with it before that block happens. And it's an exercise of awareness, really. And it sucks.
Right.
Can I say that on radio?
Yes, you certainly can. And I think there's times when you're feeling blocked that you're actually, let's say, how do I want to say it? Creatively. You know, you think you're taking Tylenol, but really you're taking Imodium. So you're blocking yourself on purpose or on accident, you know? And I think we do that a lot where some of the things that we do are kind of like Imodium. We just block ourselves without even knowing it.
Yeah. And when you work around it, above it, or around it, below it, or whatever, it does free you. And so to sit with a block in front of you is not how you should live your life. It is not healthy. So to be that person to say, I really need to reach outside of myself here. What do I do? Spirit can bring that message as well. You know, they can say, I don't know why I'm driving to Eau Claire today, but I have to just go to that rock shop. What was that name of that rock shop again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Soul and Synergy. So it's a good example of allowing yourself to teach yourself, really.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and there's nothing better feeling than having all of a sudden that hurdle just go away, and it's just it's like freedom, you know.
Yep, it is. And then I would never say this because sometimes I've really felt it. I'll be with something so long and I wonder if it was a waste of time. Did I just waste 2 years on this? What? And you know, feeling that way is okay, to put yourself in that position, but then finding the answer to that is even more fun, because then you realize, oh, that's why I had to do that. And it matters. So everything that a person experiences matters
in some way, shape, or form, because you'll connect the dots at some point in your life that goes, oh yeah, had I not done that, or had that guy not dumped me, or had that job not promoted me, you know, I would be in a different place right now. So
I think there's a caveat to it too, is that never stew on something, never sit with it for like ever, because that alone will drive you crazy. Don't do it. So it's taking that challenge and saying, you know, this isn't healthy. I don't want to be sitting in my house all alone thinking about this over and over and over, and there's no release. So that's like torture.
Total torture. Yeah, sometimes it takes a lot to get out the door, and
then you realize it wasn't that bad.
No.
So you really do have to reach out for yourself. Just reach out. Just do that thing that you know it's, oh, I'm a little scared about it. Oh, I don't know if I should cancel. Just do it.
Yeah. Right. It's because it's your ego wanting you to cancel because it wants to keep you in its little cage.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So in our last closing minute here, just wanted to again let you know, if you want to take a look at where we're at out in the world, please go to metaparapro.com to look at our upcoming events. If you want to browse our not our wares. Yeah. If you
Your warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse. Yeah. If you want to take a look at our new store, go to superstore.metaparaproducts.com. And if you want to take a look at the classes and sessions and all the wonderful stuff we do here at the store, go to soulandsynergyec.com. We're going to need another .com to kind of organize all this stuff. I'm collecting them like coins.
Oh, good.
But anyway, thank you everybody for joining us for this episode. It's been wonderful. Thank you again to our guests in the paranormal world for joining us on this show. I think we got a lot of good questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
And again, to Patty Q for giving you guys messages
Thank you.
for this episode. So have a great one, everyone. We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.